Good morning. Welcome again to Second Form Latin, Lesson 26 this week. We are learning the final new material from the book. The rest of the book will be review. Review is good. Please keep reviewing. We need to review everything we've learned because we will forget it, all right? You know this from math too, don't you? That if you don't keep reviewing one thing you've learned, you move on to another section, and if you don't keep using everything you know, you lose it. Use it or lose it, right? So we have been working on the passive voice in first conjugation, second, and third. Today we're going to learn how to do it in fourth conjugation. Good news. It's really pretty much the same. There's a slight stem vowel difference. But first of all, let's review our passive endings. Remember, ris, ter, mer, mini, unter. Imperfect, bar, baris, batter, bammer, bamini, banter. Future, for only, unfortunately, first and second. Bor, baris, bitter, bimmer, bimini, bunter. Okay. Then in the future, in the third, eris, etter, emmer, emini, enter. Did I do that right? Oh, yes, I did it right. See, if I don't review enough, I forget too. There you go. So today we're going to look at the fourth conjugation, and let's just start off by doing it. Let's just do it. Turn in your student books, please, to page 76. Pause the video and go get your student book and your workbook, please, if you don't already have it, and get something to write with. But I'm going to assume you've done that. And look at the boxes, the model boxes at the top of page 76, please. We see audio here as our model verb. Now, I'm just going to give you a moment to look through this. Is there anything surprising here? Well, I see or, ris, ter, mer, mini, unter. Remember, we've got the stem of audi. We learned this with learning the future tense of audio, right? Audiar, audi, s, audi, et. We learned that the I remains, and I see the I remaining. Audior, audiris, auditur, audimer, audimini, audiunter. Imperfect, stem vowels audier, I-E. This was just like when we did the imperfect active, audier bom, audier bos. So no surprises there. Future. Okay, it's just like rego that we learned last week, except it has the I and the E. So actually, no big surprises here. If you can conjugate audio in the active voice, you can do it in the passive voice. So this is good news. Take a look at page 77. I was trying to decide if I wanted to do sentences yet or not. Take a look at page 77. You will notice capio. Remember our poor I-O third conjugation verbs that want to be fourth so badly that they even kept the stem vowels. And you will see that capio is exactly like audio. In other words, if a verb ends in I-O, if its first principal part ends in I-O, it's going to do a fourth conjugation thing. It just is. Capio is exactly like audio. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead and do some review. I would like to do a verb synopsis here. But first, because of course we don't want to forget what we've worked so hard to learn, let's just take a moment to go through all of our declension endings together. All right, you learn these in first form Latin, but we need to know them. We don't even have to think to retrieve them. They're just there. Okay. First declension. A, arum, is, as, is. They are feminine, except for nauta, poeta, agricola. Second declension. Us, o, orum, is, os, is. They are masculine. Second declension neuter. O, a, orum, is, a, is. They are neuter. Third declension. Ex, is, ema, s, ibus, s, ibus. They are, unfortunately, requiring to be learned. And then we have a third declension neuter as well, but we're not going to do those. Okay, fourth declension. Us, ui, u, us, ibus, us, ibus. They are all masculine except for domus and manus, house and hand. Fifth declension. S, aem, s, arum, abus, s, abus. They are feminine except for ds, day. Okay, now grab your student book and let's flip back to page 75, and we're going to do the oral drill. All right, at the bottom of page 75 where it says oral drill, let's do them. This is practice, super practice with the passive voice. Trahor. Okay, what does traho mean? Draw or drag. Or is present tense. I am dragged. Remember, not I drag. It's happening to me. I am dragged. Dikunter. Dico means tell, say or tell. Unter, okay, that's present tense, and it's they. They are told. Not they tell, they are told. I hope you're catching on to the passive, to the difference between active and passive. Okay. Regimini. Rego means rule. All right. Imini, that's present tense, and mini is you all. You all are ruled. Okay. Jungimer. Jungo means join. It's got an I, emer, so it's present tense, and it's we. We are joined. Struiter. Struo means build. It's eater, it's not eter, so it's present tense, struiter, and it's he shear it. He shear it is built. Vincerus. All right, this one's tricky. Do you notice the difference between 6 and 7? In 6, we have an accent, an emphasis on the first syllable. In 7, we don't. Okay. Eris. Eris is you, but we have to remember which one is which. Now, if you look over on page 74, if you don't remember, we see that if it's got the accent on the first syllable, it's present. And if it doesn't, it's future. So number 6 must be present. You, oh, and I have to know what vinco means. Conquer. You are conquered. Now, number 7 is exactly like number 6, except for the accent. And we just reminded ourselves that that means it's future. You will be conquered. Figebanter. All right, figo means fix or fasten. Banter, it's imperfect, and it's they. They were fixed, or they were being fixed. Vehater, veho, convey, transport or convey. All right, ter is he, she, or it. Oh, but it's an E. It's a stem vowel of an E. That makes it future. If it were an I, veheter, it would be present, but it's veheter. He, she, or it will be conveyed. And the last one is du kunter. Duco means lead. It's present tense because it's got the unt, not ent, and it's they. They are led, or they are being led. Okay, let's take a look at the second column. Let's see if we can turn them into Latin. This is a little trickier. Okay, we will be hauled. First of all, we have to remember the verb for haul. Oh, by the way, you know what you could do? You could pause the video, and you could try writing these out and then see how you did. I highly recommend that. Pause the video and just take as long as it takes. Try translating these all into Latin, then start up the video again and check yourself. Okay, haul. Haul is traho. We have future, so it's going to be a stem vowel of an E, trahe, and the we ending, mer, trahemer. I am told. Okay, tell is dico. It's present tense, and it's I, so decor, decor. She is ruled. Okay, rule is rego. Is ruled, that's present tense. So our stem vowel is going to be an I, regi, and then we need the she ending, ter, regitur or regitur. It was being built. Build is struo. Was is imperfect, and we need our stem vowel of E. Strue, S-T-R-U-E, botter, strue botter. Number 5, you all are joined. Join is jungo. It's present tense, so we're going to have an I, stem vowel jungi, and then the you all ending, mini, jungimini, jungimini. We were being led. Okay, lead is duco. We have the stem vowel of an E because it's third conjugation, duque. And then we need the bar, baris, batter, and since it's you, it's baris, duque, baris. Number 7, I am fastened. Fastened is figo. I am, that's present tense, so figor. Number 8, they are conveyed. Convey is veho. They are, that's present tense. So we need the unter ending. They hunter. They hunter. We were being conquered. Conquer is vinco. So it's our stem is vinque with an E, vinque. Bomber. We were being. vinke bomber. Number 10, I will be conquered. We just said conquer is vinko. We need future, will be, and the I. So it's vinkar. Vinkar. All right. Practicing these over and over will make them easier. I promise you, it will make them easier. I know it's just a lot of information to process. Let's do a verb synopsis of a second conjugation verb, and then let's do maybe one just in the passive voice of a third. Okay? Let me grab my handy dandy whiteboard. Okay. We can scoot over here. Okay. I feel like it's gotten very dark suddenly. You know what we're going to do? We're just going to move the whole thing over a tad. Sorry about this. All right. I think that's a little bit better. Okay. Terrio. What are the principal parts of terrio? Terrio, terere, terriui, territus. Let's do first person plural. That's we. In the present, imperfect, future, perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect. And let's actually do active and passive. Ooh, I'm not going to write out the meanings, okay? So, present tense. Terrio, teres, teret, teremus, teretus, terent. So, teremus. We frighten. We are frightening. We do frighten. Imperfect. Teribam, teribas, teribot, teribamus, teribatus, teribont. Teribamus. We were frightening. Future. Teribo, teribis, teribit, teribimus, teribitus, teribunt. Teribimus. We will frighten. Okay, perfect system. We have to go to our third principal part and get our stem. Perfect. Teriui, teriuisti, teriuit, teriuimus, teriuistus, teriuerant. Teriuimus. We frightened, we have frightened, or we did frighten. Pluperfect. Teriueram, teriueras, teriuerat, teriueramus, teriueratus, teriuerant. Teriueramus. We had frightened. Future perfect. Teriuero, teriueris, teriuerit, teriuerimus, teriueritus, teriuerint. Teriuerimus. We will have frightened. All right, let's try the passive. Terrior, tereris, tereritter, tererimmer, tererimini, terimini, teritter. Ooh, I can't do it. Okay. I can't do it out loud. Oris, ter, mer, mini, unter. Boy, that is really very well. Okay, so terimer. We are frightened. All right, next one. Let's just put our stem here. Terry bar, Terry bars, Terry botter, Terry bomber, Terry bomany, Terry bonter, Terry bomber. We were frightened, right? Then we need the bor, bearus, bitter, bimmer, bimini, bunter, Terry bimmer. We will be frightened. Boy, I had trouble with this, see? Because I haven't worked in passive. I mean, I'm working with it with you guys, but in the Latin I do with the high schoolers and my own personal Latin, I don't run into passive very often. So you see what happens when you don't practice? See, take a lesson from me. Okay. Let's do deco. All right. So let's just do deco in not a synopsis, but conjugate the whole thing out. Okay, so decor. Now, what's our stem vowel? I, right? Ris, ter, mer, mini, unter. Decor, decurus, dechitter, dechimmer, dechimney, decunter. Okay? Let's do it in the imperfect. Bar, barus. Can you see this? Yes. Batter, bammer, bamini, banter. All right. Check. Okay, and then future. I'm going to hoist this up. Decar, decarus. See, I put the little accent. Decatur, Kemmer, Dekemini, Decanter. Okay? The E stem vowel tells us, oops, I wanted that. Ooh, I messed up. Oh, I messed up. Don't tell anyone. Shh. Because remember, it's eris. See? That's what happens when you don't review. I'm telling you, okay? Present tense has the X and future tense doesn't. Oh my goodness. See? So don't feel bad when you mess up. I mess up too. We're all in this together, right? We're all practicing and learning together. So this week you're going to learn the future, the fourth. Boy, I am really messed up today. See, I'm all thrown off by my own mistake. Let it go. We all make mistakes, right? We're learning the fourth conjugation, passive. Now, before we do all the sentences, you know I made up sentences. I made up a bunch of them today. All right, I want to look at the new vocabulary. Just because we're all wrapped up in all these new verb forms, let's not forget that you're also learning new nouns, but they've been pretty easy nouns to learn, which is kind of a break. And this is your last shot at new stuff. Like I said, you've just got reviews next time. So let's take a look at our new words. Now, they've been giving you first declension and second declension, and those make it very easy to learn because you don't have to really learn the genitive. But today they're giving you third conjugation, or third declension. And third declension, remember, you gotta learn the genitive. You have to learn the genitive, or you will not know how to decline it. So let's take a look at your new words. All of them are masculine except the first one. Arbor, arborus. It means tree. Are you familiar with Arbor Day? Arbor Day, I don't know what month Arbor Day is in, but you're supposed to go plant a tree. I think people that sell trees might have invented this holiday. Not that it's a bad idea to plant trees. Okay, but arbor means tree. Sometimes we talk about an arbor, which is a sort of a green, shady, leafy, viney place. You know, you can buy those arbors, the wooden frames that you train a vine up, and it makes this shaded little hideout. It's an arbor. An arboretum is a place where they don't just have trees, but they have all sorts of plants that you can go walk through, like sort of like the botanical center. Okay, so that's arbor, arboris. Do not just learn that arbor means tree. Learn arbor, arboris means tree. All right? Amor, amoris means love. This should be easy because amo is the verb that means love. So amor, amoris is love or passion. If you are amorous, it means you're very passionate and loving. Clamor, clamoris, shout or cry. Remember, clamo means shout. Clamor, clamoris is a shout. Dolor, doloris is grief or pain. I don't think you've learned dolio, have you? I grieve. So dolor is the noun, grief or pain. Remember the dolorous stroke? Those of you who read King Arthur with me this year, and they struck the dolorous stroke on King Pelles with the lance that pierced Jesus' side in King Arthur. Imperator, imperatoris is a general or a commander. Remember, impero means I order. Who gives the orders? The general or the commander. Imperator, imperatoris. Labor, laboris, work or toil, as a noun. Don't forget, this is a noun. But laboro means work as a verb. So this is easy too. Orator, oratoris, a speaker or an orator. Oro means I speak. Orator is a speaker. Pastor, pastoris is a shepherd. Right? That's why clergymen are sometimes referred to as pastors. They're shepherds of the flock. Pastor, pastoris. A pastoral music or a poem is celebrating life in the country, where the shepherds are. Piscator, piscatoris. Piscus means fish, like Pisces, the constellation. Piscator is a fisherman. And senator, senatoris, is a senator. Oh my goodness. Comes from senex, old man. Senex, senex, have you learned old man? Because technically you expect the old men to be wiser and more capable of making good laws and good judgments. And so the Senate was the place where the old men gathered, not just because they were old, but because they were wise. Because with age often comes wisdom because of experience. You have to learn from the experience, though. It doesn't automatically come with age. Okay, so that's your new task. You need to learn to do the fourth conjugation in the passive voice. And remember, third IO verbs work just the same as the fourth. And you also need to learn your new words. And you must learn the nominative and genitive. However, in all of these, they end with, they're all or, oris. So it's going to be pretty easy to learn those. All right, let's do some super practice with a bunch of sentences. This is my favorite part. Is it your favorite part? I think it is. Sorry, Carter, I don't think I did any rousingly violent sentences this time. Sorry to let you down. Okay, I need to move my book so that I can actually see the sentences I made up. Okay. Are you ready? Here we go. Primia, I tried to use as many of your new words as I could. Primia militum erant argentum et aurum. Okay, what is our verb? Errant. It's the be verb. So we're not going to expect to find any direct object in this sentence because the be verb just doesn't have any action. Nothing happens to anything. It's just a state of being verb, so no direct object. It's eram, eras, erat, eramus, eratus, erant. It's imperfect. They were. Now we need to find something that could be the they. It needs to be a subject and it needs to be plural. And I look at primia. You know, the subject usually comes first in the sentence anyway. Not always, but usually in the sentences we've been doing. So it's a good candidate. So premium means reward. It's neuter. So primia would be the neuter plural. The rewards were. Now what are the rewards were what? Well, look here. These are also nominative. Silver and gold. Those seem like good rewards. Okay. The rewards were silver and gold. We only have one word here that we haven't done anything yet with. It's militus. Miles militus, isn't it? It's soldier. But what case is it? X is E-M-A-S. It's genitive plural. Of the soldiers. The rewards of the soldiers were silver and gold. Did you get it? Okay, let's do another one. Oculi, I think this one's kind of tough. Oculi animi deum vident. Okay, start with the verb. Video means see. And it's present tense. Video, vides, videt. And it's they. They see. What can be the they? Well, we actually have two candidates here. Eyes and spirits. Well, what normally sees? Eyes normally see. And we just got done saying that usually the subject comes first. Let's go with eyes. Eyes see. What could they see? Do we have a direct object at all? This is a direct object. God. Eyes see God. Now, if eyes is the subject, what else could animi be? If it's not a subject and that's not nominative plural, what else? What other ending? What other case does this ending indicate? Genitive singular of the spirit. The eyes of the spirit see God. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense to you, how I did it by process of elimination. You know, the spirits of the eye see God. That just doesn't really make sense. So we're going to, when it could go one way or the other, we need to think about what makes more sense. And obviously, if this were part of a story or a letter or something you were translating, you would know which sense to take it in. But we're going to take the one that makes sense. The eyes of the spirit see God. Okay. Ventus coronam regis nostri in mare yecit. Start with the verb, yecit. It is from yakio, throw or hurl. And I see the third principal part, yakio, yakere, yeki. Right? Yeki. So through. Just a second. I'm having a sudden feeling like I've made a mistake. Because this just seems to be a day of mistakes for me, doesn't it? Hang on. See, this is what you have to do, right? This is a learning thing for you guys. If you're not sure about yourself, you check yourself, right? And you know what? I was nervous. Yakia, yakere, yeki, yaktus, but I was right. But it's not a bad thing to go check yourself. Okay. It's got the I, isti, it endings. He, she, or it, through. What through? What could be the subject? Ventus, wind. The wind through. What could be a direct object here? You see any direct object endings? I see coronam, crown. The wind through the crown. Right, this is pretty easy in mare. It either means in the sea or into the sea. Do you remember? This is the tricky thing. Remember, when mare is ablative, it's mari. Do you remember that? It's got that crazy I there, but that's not what I wrote. I wrote mare. Mare is neuter. That means the nominative and the accusative are the same. That means this is accusative. And when in is used with the accusative, it means into the sea. The wind through the crown into the sea. Now, we have two words we haven't dealt with. Rex, regis. This has got to be ablative, or genitive. My goodness, I'm mixed up today. It's got to be genitive. Of the king. Rex regis. Of the king. This is also genitive and masculine and singular. Of our king. The crown of our king. So let's put it all together. The wind through the crown of our king into the sea. Boy, I had trouble with that one. I hope it was easier for you than it was for me, and I wrote it. Okay. Fabula. Femina. Narabater. Okay. Narabater. Naro means tell. And barbarous batter is imperfect. It is passive. And it is he, she, or it. He, she, or it was told. Not was telling, was told. What could be the he, she, or it? Well, we only have one thing that could be the subject, because this is part of a prepositional phrase. And it's ablative too. Story. The story was told by the woman. Remember, when we have passive, if it's a living being doing the telling or doing the action, it's ablative of agent, and we use a or ab with the ablative. If it's not a living thing doing it, it's called ablative of means, and we don't use the a or ab. All right, another one. Here, I'm going to erase these. Not have them going too far down on the board. Quote, golly, apud Romanos vivebant. Right, we know it's a question. First, because there's a question mark. Second of all, because quote is one of our question words. But let's start with the verb. Vivebant. Vivo means live. Bombasbat is imperfect. They were living. Who is living? Is there anything that could be the subject? Gauls. Remember, Gallus is a Gaul, a guy who lives there. Gallia is the country, all right? Quote, what does quote mean? How many? How many Gauls were living apud. Do you remember? Among, in the presence of, at the house of, so we'll say among. Among the Romans. How many Gauls were living among the Romans? All right. Next up. Omnis servus misere vincebatur. Vinco. Vinco means conquer. And batur is passive and it's imperfect. He, she, or it was conquered. Now, what could be the he, she, or it? Servus. The slave was conquered. Now we have two more words to deal with. Omnis. Omnis means all or each. Which would be better to use with service? Because they're both nominative and they're both masculine and they're both singular. All slave or each slave? Each slave. Each slave or every. Each slave or every slave was conquered. What are we going to do with misere? Miserus aum means miserable or wretched. But what is up with this E? Do you remember? When we use an E ending on an adjective, it changes it into an adverb. Wretchedly, miserably. Each slave was miserably conquered. Now, do you see how we did that one step at a time? If you look at the whole thing, it can overwhelm you. But just pick away at it, chip away one step at a time. Get the verb, then find your subject. And if you do that, you'll narrow it down to you just have one word to deal with or two words to deal with. Okay? Divide and conquer. Okay. Next up. Schisme, magistrum, nobilem, pueri pigri. Okay, it's a question. First of all, it's got a question mark. But second of all, it's got the nay, right? Nay meaning it's a question. So now we're going to ignore the nay. All right, let's put a little skis. That's our verb, skis. Skio means no. Skio, skis, skeet. It's present tense. You know. It's you know, or you do know, or you are knowing. I'm going to write that down because we need to remember what helping verbs we can use when we turn it into a question. Okay. The subject is you. Do we need to look for another subject in the sentence? No. You is the subject. Okay. You know. We could look for a direct object. And here we have magistrum. It's a direct object. Teacher. Oh, and this has an accusative ending too. And it's also masculine. The noble teacher. You know the noble teacher. Right. Pueri. Pueri can be nominative plural, but it can't be in this sentence because we already have a subject and the subject is you. Our only other choice is genitive singular. Of the boy. What kind of boy? Lazy boy. You know the noble teacher of the lazy boy. Now, let's turn it into a question. We have to use do or are. Do you know the noble teacher of the lazy boy? Right? One step at a time, and we get it. All right? Multum vinum milites impedivit. Okay? Impedio means hinder. And I see the third principal part, impedivi, which means it must be one of the perfect tenses. And it's isti it. Ooh, it is perfect tense. He, sheer it, hindered. What could be the he, sheer it? Can't be milites because it's plural. Wine. Much wine hindered. What are we going to do with milites? Can't be our subject, but it can be our direct object, plural, the soldiers. Much wine hindered the soldiers. Apparently they drank a little too much. Okay, I see we've already hit our 45 minutes, but we're going to do one more. Regnum pulchrum forti viro explorabatur. Okay, explora means explore. Batur is imperfect and it's passive. He, sheer, it was explored. What could be the he, sheer, it? Regnum, the kingdom. The kingdom was explored. What kind of kingdom? The beautiful kingdom was explored. Oh, and now I see one of these ablative of agents. The beautiful kingdom was explored by the man. What kind of man? Brave, by the brave man. Now, why does it have an I instead of an E? Because third declension adjectives have an I in the ablative instead of the E. Do you remember that? If you don't remember that, look it up. Go back in your book and look up how to do third declension adjectives. Or it's probably declined out in the back of your book as well. Okay, so let's grab your workbook. Oh, saying of the week. Capiter urbs quae totum cepit orbum. The city which captured the whole world is captured. This is a quote from Jerome. It tells you about it in the box on page 77, that when Rome was sacked by the Gauls in 410, it just sent, we talked about this last year, it sent shockwaves throughout the empire. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Rome never gets attacked and conquered, and it did by those stupid Goths. Sorry, that's their words, not mine. And so Jerome, like Augustine, but Jerome was particularly just, oh my goodness. Oh, how could this be? How could this be? The city which captured the whole world is captured. So we see cepit in your saying, this urbs cepit, the city which captured the whole world, and then we have is captured, capitur. All right, let's go to your workbooks. You know what? We are not doing the grammar and word study because we already during the lesson talked about everything that was important in there. So go ahead, do the worksheet pages for lesson 26. You actually have 6. Oh my goodness, you have 7 pages. Plus, it says on a separate sheet of paper, conjugate audio, munio, and capio. Active and passive, do it. Do it and check yourself. The more you do this, the easier it will get. You're not doing yourself any favors by slacking. Now, at the bottom of page 170, it says, the translation skills, it says, underline the ablative of means. They mean which word is ablative, the by means of, which noun. And then it says there are 2 ablative of agents. Can you find them? Now, this exercise goes on to the next page, okay? Because there's only actually one of them at the bottom of page 170. So, but there is a second one. Now, how could you tell even without translating? Because ablative of agent uses a or ob. Ablative of means doesn't. So if you just went through there and found 2 that have an a or ob, you're going to have found your 2 ablative of agent. Okay? Do that, check it, and always, as always, If you make a mistake and you know why you made it, great. I want you to know why you made the mistake. If you don't know, please call me and we'll walk through it together. Likewise, if you're doing the workbook and you're not sure what to do on one of the exercises, call me and I'll grab my workbook and we'll talk about it. Till then, happy Latin. See you next week. You're almost there. Bye-bye.